First contact and discovery. The Vaharan fleet emerged from the quantum fold at the edge of Earth's solar system, their obsidian vessels absorbing starlight rather than reflecting it. On the command deck of the flagship Inevitable Dominance, High Commander Xerex observed the blue-green planet on the main view screen with mild curiosity and undisguised contempt. Such primitive architecture, he remarked to Science Director Malus, gesturing at the orbital stations and lunar colonies visible in the high-resolution scan. They've barely left their cradle, yet they think themselves spacefaring. Malus, her silver skin rippling with phosphorescent patterns that indicated analytical thought, studied the data streams flowing across her neural interface. They achieved spaceflight only 70 years ago, Commander. By comparison, the Vaharan Collective had colonized 3 star systems before our written history began. Why has the Council directed significant resources to study such an insignificant species? Xerex asked, his 4 eyes narrowing to slits. Anomalies. Malus replied simply. Their technological progression curve defies all known models. They should not have advanced from primitive combustion engines to rudimentary AI in less than 2 centuries. It suggests intervention. Xerex's crest flared with sudden interest. The predecessors? Unknown, but the energy signatures we detected from orbit match certain patterns in our archive. The commander's demeanor shifted instantly from boredom to intense focus. If the predecessors, the mysterious civilization that had vanished from the galaxy 50,000 years ago, leaving only scattered artifacts of inexplicable technology, had influenced Earth, then this primitive backwater suddenly became the most important planet in the sector. Prepare a diplomatic team, he ordered, and activate the Archaeotech Division. Earth's reaction to the Vaharan arrival was predictably chaotic. Global communications erupted with panic, military forces mobilized, religious groups proclaimed either salvation or doom. When the aliens finally established contact, requesting meetings with Earth's leaders, the United Earth Council assembled its finest minds. Dr. Eleanor Chen, Earth's foremost xenoanthropologist, General Marcus Santos, commander of the Solar Defense Force, and Dr. Quaim O.C., leading expert on quantum physics. The first meeting took place in Geneva, in a hastily prepared neutral facility. The Vaharan delegation glided into the conference room with perfect synchronicity, their metallic-looking skin shifting in hues that seemed to communicate among themselves. High Commander Xerex spoke first, his translator converting the complex harmonics of Vaharan speech into clipped, precise English. Your species has drawn our scientific interest. The Vaharan Collective studies emerging civilizations across the galaxy. You represent an unusual case. Dr. Chen leaned forward. Unusual in what way, Commander? Your technological development is accelerated beyond all known models. This suggests outside influence at some point in your history. General Santos tensed visibly. We developed our technology ourselves. Xerex's skin flashed with patterns that the humans would later learn indicated amusement, or perhaps condescension. That would be unprecedented. We request access to your archaeological sites, historical records, and genetic databanks to verify our hypothesis. That's quite intrusive, Dr. Chen responded carefully. We would need assurances about your intentions and information-sharing protocols. Science Director Malus stepped forward. We can offer technological exchange, medical advances, clean energy solutions, star charts of territories unknown to you. The negotiations continued for days, with Earth's representatives growing increasingly concerned about the Vaharan's insistence on accessing sites of ancient human civilization. Eventually, a compromise was reached. Joint research teams would investigate 12 locations of interest, with equal representation from both species. Dr. Amara Katri, a specialist in ancient civilizations who had not been part of the initial diplomatic team, found herself assigned to the expedition at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, one of the oldest known human temple complexes. The Vaharan Archaeotech specialist assigned to her team, Tavik, carried equipment unlike anything she had ever seen. This site contains energy signatures inconsistent with Stone Age development. Tavik explained, his translator struggling with technical terms. We believe there may be artifacts beneath the visible structures. Göbekli Tepe has been extensively excavated. Amara protested. If there were anything unusual, we would have found it. Tavik's skin rippled with what she would later recognize as the Vaharan equivalent of a dismissive smile. Your instruments are inadequate. The alien activated a device that projected a three-dimensional grid across the ancient stone pillars. Where the light touched the carvings of animals and abstract symbols, they seemed to shift and change, revealing patterns invisible to the naked eye. Interesting, Tavik murmured. These are not decorative. They are mathematical. Amara stepped closer, fascinated despite her irritation at the alien's condescension. That's impossible. The builders of Göbekli Tepe were pre-agricultural societies. They didn't have written mathematics. And yet, Tavik replied, gesturing to the transformed symbols, here are quantum equations that our civilization only mastered 2,000 years ago. Over the following weeks, similar discoveries were made at other sites. Beneath the pyramids of Giza, under Stonehenge, within the ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro, deep in Chichen Itza, and even in seemingly natural formations like Uluru in Australia. At each location, Vaharan technology revealed hidden chambers, unusual energy signatures, and mathematical symbols that predated human understanding of such concepts by thousands of years. The Vaharans became increasingly secretive and territorial about these discoveries. Research teams that had begun with equal human-alien representation gradually excluded the human scientists from key findings. Military vessels from the Vaharan fleet positioned themselves over each site of interest. Dr. Khatri noticed the change at Göbekli Tepe when Tavik began restricting her access to the subterranean chamber they had discovered beneath the main temple complex. The chamber contained a perfectly spherical object approximately 2 meters in diameter, composed of an unknown metallic substance that seemed to absorb and emit light simultaneously. Your presence is no longer required, Tavik informed her one morning, his skin patterns indicating agitation. The artifact is predecessor technology and falls under collective protection protocols. This is an Earth archaeological site, Amara argued. You have no authority to exclude human researchers. We have every authority, Tavik replied coldly. Your species is merely the current occupant of this world. The artifacts belong to a civilization that spanned the galaxy when your ancestors were still swinging in trees. Furious, Amara retreated from the site, but not before secretly copying data from the Vaharan scanning equipment. That night, reviewing the information in her tent, she discovered something the aliens had missed. The strange symbols etched into the sphere weren't just mathematical equations. They were also present in human DNA. Specifically, in junk DNA, the vast portions of the human genome that seemingly served no purpose. The patterns matched perfectly, as if the artifact and humanity shared a common designer. While Vaharan guards patrolled outside, Amara sent her findings through an encrypted channel to Dr. Chen and Dr. Ose. Within hours, reports came in from other human scientists who had made similar connections at their respective sites. Whatever the artifacts were, they were somehow linked to humanity itself. The next morning, ignoring Tavik's restrictions, Amara returned to the subterranean chamber. She found several Vaharans surrounding the sphere, now suspended in an energy field as they attempted to transport it to their ship. Stop, she shouted. You don't understand what you're doing. Human interference will not be tolerated, Tavik said, signaling to guards who moved to intercept her. In the struggle that followed, Amara's hand pressed against the surface of the sphere. Instantly, the artifact responded, pulsing with a golden light that spread outward in concentric waves. The Vaharans recoiled, their skin patterns flashing in what was clearly alarm. The sphere rose into the air, spinning slowly as glyphs across its surface illuminated one by one. A voice, neither human nor Vaharan, filled the chamber, speaking in a language Amara somehow understood despite never having heard it before. Genetic recognition confirmed. Initialization sequence activated. The seeding protocol resumes after dormancy of 50,000 cycles. Tavik stared at Amara with his 4 eyes widened in shock. "What have you done?" Before she could answer, the golden light engulfed her completely. And simultaneously, at every site around the world where similar artifacts had been discovered, the same phenomenon occurred with any humans in proximity. The awakening had begun. Awakening and revelation. General Marcus Santos was in the middle of an emergency meeting with the United Earth Council when the pain hit him. It started as a pressure behind his eyes, then rapidly expanded to every cell in his body. Around the table, other officials clutched their heads, some falling from their chairs as the sensation intensified. On screens across the chamber, reports flooded in from around the world. Millions of people experiencing the same symptoms simultaneously. From orbit, the Vaharan vessels recorded a phenomenon never before observed. A network of golden energy connecting every location where artifacts had been discovered, visible even from space. For exactly 12 minutes, nearly half of Earth's population experienced the pain. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, it stopped. But something had changed. In Geneva, General Santos stood up, feeling strangely different, as if he had been seeing the world through clouded glass that had suddenly cleared. Without fully understanding how, he could sense the locations of every Vaharan on Earth and in orbit. He could perceive energy fields, quantum probabilities, and potential futures branching like rivers before him. He was not alone. Dr. Eleanor Chen found she could understand and speak the Vaharan language without a translator. Dr. Osi discovered he could manipulate energy fields with his thoughts, and all around the world, ordinary humans reported similar awakenings of abilities that had lain dormant in their genetic code for millennia. On the flagship Inevitable Dominance, High Commander Xerex received reports with mounting horror. "This is impossible," he hissed to Science Director Malus. "The markers in their DNA. Their predecessor coding." "Not just any predecessors," Malus replied, her skin almost colorless with shock. "These are architect patterns. The humans, they're descendants of the architects themselves." The implications staggered them both. The architects were the most advanced faction of the predecessors, rumored to have mastered technologies that bordered on the divine. They had vanished more completely than the other predecessor groups, leaving almost no artifacts behind. And now it appeared they had hidden themselves, or at least their genetic legacy, within an emerging species on an unremarkable planet. "We must contact the Council immediately," Xerex decided, "and prepare defensive measures if their abilities continue to develop." "Commander," an officer interrupted, "multiple quantum fold signatures detected. Large fleet incoming." Before Xerex could respond, the space around Earth's orbit shimmered as dozens of massive vessels appeared, neither human nor Vaharan in design. Their hulls gleamed with a blue-white light that seemed to bend reality around them. "Xeraxi warships," Malus whispered. "They found us." The Xeraxi, ancient enemies of both the predecessors and the Vaharan collective, had been expanding their territory for centuries, consuming worlds and civilizations in their path. If they had detected the activation of the predecessor artifacts, they would stop at nothing to claim Earth and its newfound power. On Earth, Dr. Amara Katri stood in the chamber beneath Göbekli Tape, the artifact, now hovering at eye level, projecting images of the approaching Xeraxi fleet. "They have come, as predicted," the same disembodied voice stated. "The seeding was designed for this moment. You must remember." And suddenly, Amara did remember, not from her own life, but from genetic memory unlocked by the artifact. She saw the architects, facing extinction in a war against the Xeraxi, making the desperate decision to hide their essence, their knowledge, and their power within the emerging primate species on a distant, unremarkable world. Earth would be their legacy, protected by its very insignificance until the dormant potential in its inhabitants could be awakened. That time had come. triggered by the Vaharan discovery. In orbit, the Exaraxi ships launched their first assault, not against Earth but against the Vaharan fleet. Energy weapons tore through space, crippling several Vaharan vessels before they could raise their shields. High Commander Zirex, facing a superior force, made a tactical decision. Send emissaries to the humans. Tell them everything. If they truly carry architect genetics, they're our only hope of survival. On Earth, as the battle raged in space, humans with newly awakened abilities gathered at the artifact sites. They found they could connect mentally across vast distances, sharing knowledge and coordinating actions without technology. When Vaharan emissaries arrived with their desperate message, they were already aware of the threat. General Santos, now serving as humanity's military coordinator, addressed the assembled leaders. Two alien civilizations are fighting over our world and our future. One sees us as primitive curiosities, the other as resources to be consumed. Neither considers us equals. But we are more than either of them realizes, Dr. Chen added. The knowledge unlocked in our minds reveals our true heritage and our potential. We are not merely humans. We carry within us the legacy of the most advanced civilization this galaxy has ever known. The plan they'd formulated was audacious. Using the network of artifacts as amplifiers, they would channel the newly awakened abilities of millions of humans into a coordinated defense of Earth. Dr. Osi and a team of physicists would create a planetary shield. Dr. Chen would establish communication with more reasonable elements within the Vaharan fleet, and General Santos would coordinate a counteroffensive against the Exaraxi forces. When the Exaraxi, having decimated half the Vaharan fleet, turned their attention to Earth, they encountered something unprecedented. A golden energy field surrounding the planet, impervious to their weapons. From the surface, thousands of energy projectiles, manifestations of human thought, made tangible, streaked into space, targeting Exaraxi vessels with unerring accuracy. In the chaos of battle, Science Director Malus, commanding what remained of the Vaharan forces after Zyrex's flagship was destroyed, received a transmission from Dr. Chen. Your people recognize something special about Earth, Chen said. Now you face a choice. Continue treating us as subjects for study, or join us as allies against a common enemy. Malus, pragmatic and intelligent, recognized the shift in power. The collective has existed for 10,000 years by adapting to new realities. This is such a moment. The alliance that formed, human and Vaharan against Exaraxi, turned the tide of battle. Human abilities, growing stronger by the hour as more genetic memories unlocked, combined with Vaharan technology in ways neither species had imagined possible. Dr. Amara Katri, connected to the primary artifact at Göbekli Tepe, served as the focal point for humanity's collective consciousness. Through her, the artifacts at all 12 sites synchronized, creating a weapon of last resort, a quantum cascading effect that selectively targeted Exaraxi ships, folding space-time around them and removing them from this reality altogether. When the last Exaraxi vessel vanished, Earth fell silent. The golden network connecting the artifacts pulsed once more, then faded to a subtle glow that remained visible only to those with awakened senses. In the aftermath, as humans and Vaharans began the complicated process of establishing a genuine alliance, Amara stood with Tavik in the chamber that had started it all. Your people came here believing us primitive, she said. You laughed at our technological infancy. A grave miscalculation, Tavik admitted, his skin patterns showing genuine respect, perhaps for the first time. We saw only what was visible, not what lay dormant. A common mistake, Amara replied. To judge by appearances rather than potential. Above them, the artifact rotated slowly, projecting star maps that showed not just the known galaxy, but thousands of worlds beyond, places where other architect legacies might wait to be discovered, places where humanity, carrying the knowledge of an ancient civilization in their very cells, might someday journey. The voice from the artifact spoke one final time. The seeding is complete. The children of Earth are children of the stars once more. The journey continues. And across the planet, millions of awakened humans look to the night sky with new understanding and new purpose. They had been dismissed, underestimated, and nearly conquered. But humanity's forgotten power had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same.